Hey Tribe, what's up? Welcome back to Live Life in Your Terms. I'm Chad, by the way, just in case you're new here. And in this video, we're going to only do chapter 4 on desire, but I'm actually going through the power of awareness myself. I'm reading through it again because I've read it many, many times. But I didn't want to read the whole book to you because so many people do that. But I wanted to kind of pull out the kind of the meat and potatoes from the book. And in this video right here, we're going into chapter 4 on desire. And I'm going to read this whole chapter to you because it's so powerful. And really, Neville Goddard really goes into desire, living in the end, feeling your wish fulfilled. And he also answers this ultimate question of how long to do it. And this is coming from Neville Goddard. It's not coming from personal experience, of course. But I thought this chapter was so excellent. I wanted to read the whole chapter to you guys and kind of put in my commentary. So other than that, let's get rocking and rolling and let's dig into chapter 4 on desire. And now this is from the book, The Power of the Awareness by Neville Goddard. This is probably one of my top books, or at least if you're new to Neville Goddard, you need to read this book right here. So let's jump into this. Chapter 4 on desire, and I'm going to read it pretty fast. And you see my yellow, this is my highlighter just in case I want to highlight some stuff for you. Okay, let's start. I had to put my glasses on here where things were kind of blurry. Chapter 4 on desire. The changes which take place in your life as a result of your changed concept of yourself always appears to the unenlightened to be the result, not of a change of your consciousness, but of a chance, outer cause, or coincidence. However, the only fate governing your life is the fate determined by your own concepts, your own assumptions, for an assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden in fact. So I love this right here because, and I'll reread it as I highlight this for you. I wish the highlighter was a little bit different, but oh well. Let me reread this again for you. However, the only fate governing your life is the fate determined by your own concepts. Okay. Now, what Neville means by this, what's really governing your life is what you think about yourself, your secret you, what you murmur and complain about all day long. If you feel like you're rich and wealthy, or do you feel like you're poor, or are you always talking down to yourself? This is what Neville is really talking about here. And it's made up of your own assumptions you have about yourself, either true or false. And if it's false, what he's saying, if it's persisted in, it's hardened into fact, meaning that that's what's going to manifest into your 3D world. You know, even if you didn't grow up in poverty, but if you always view yourself in poverty, you always view yourself that bad things always happen to you, well, that's going to harden into a fact as far as using Neville Goddard language. You know what I mean? That's what's going to manifest into your 3D world. The ideal you seek and the hope to attain will not manifest itself, will it not be realized by you until you have imagined that you are already the ideal. There is no escape from you except by radical psychological transformation of yourself, except by your assumption of the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Therefore, make results of your accomplishments the crucial test of your ability to use your imagination. Everything depends on your attitude towards yourself. Listen to this. I'll highlight this for you. Everything depends on your attitude towards yourself. That which you will not affirm as true of yourself can never be realized by you. For that attitude alone is a necessary condition by which you realize your goal. Let me change the color here. So I like this sentence right here. Okay, what Neville is saying here is everything depends on your attitude towards yourself. So it's really how you see yourself. Bottom line. And it's really coming from your deep-rooted beliefs and what I like to call the secret you. The things you tell yourself in secret. Okay, we all complain to ourselves, you know what I mean? But it's that secret you that most people don't know about you. That's what's coming into your world. So what Neville is saying is everything depends on your attitude toward yourself. Listen to this, that which you will not affirm as true of yourself can never be realized by you. Okay, listen to this. And Neville writes a little bit very sophisticated. It's old English. Sometimes it's hard to read. Forgive me with that, but this is the power of the awareness, of course. So listen, that which you were not affirm as true of yourself can never be realized by you. Okay, what he's saying here is if you don't look at it as true of yourself, it can never manifest to you. Like things manifest to you, things come into your 3D world only if it appears to be true. Now, when we talk about the subconscious mind, once the subconscious mind accepts it as true about you, that's when it comes into your world. That's when manifesting works for you, either good or bad. Okay, because manifesting is always working. Okay, lots of times we're just manifesting what we don't want. Listen, all transformation is based upon suggestion, and this can work only where you lay yourself completely open to an influence. You must abandon yourself to your ideal as a woman abandons herself to love, for complete abandonment of self to it is the way to union with your ideal. You must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled until your assumption has all the sensory vividness of reality. Listen to this. Now, this is where Neville kind of basically says, well, Chad, how long should I do this? How long should I live in the end? How long should I lay down at night and go inside my imagination as if I'm successful, as if I'm rich, as if I have millions of dollars, no matter what you want, if it's your dream house, your dream car, a job. Now, how long to do it? And what Neville is saying, and he says it right here, and I think he says it again in another paragraph, is you must assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled until your assumption has all the sensory vividness of reality. Okay, what Neville is saying is, you go inside your imagination, you live in the end, and you do it until it becomes your reality, until you truly believe, if I want to be wealthy, I want to be a multimillionaire, I truly believe, I truly carry myself as if I'm a millionaire. Like it's a fact, it's true. I do it until everything comes together. And listen, I knew this paragraph was coming up, so I was trying to hold. That's why I kind of sound funny. I was kind of holding. I didn't want to go too deep in this chapter too soon. Listen, you must imagine that you are already experiencing what you desire. I love that. You must imagine that you are already experiencing what you desire. Desire is anything you want. If it's a dream house, a dream car, if it's millions of dollars, you want to be a multimillionaire, you want to be wealthy, you want to give to charities, you want that dream job, dream career, you want to be an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter what you want, okay? Desire means anything, okay? We add to what we want, okay? Listen again, I'm going to repeat myself. I know you guys are going to hate me, you're going to want to strangle me. Listen. You must imagine that you are already experiencing what you desire. If you want that dream house, you imagine that you're already living in your dream house. You have your dream house right now today, and you carry yourself, you act as if, you make decisions as if you already have what you want. And listen, that is, you must assume the feeling of the fulfillment of your desire until you are possessed by it. And this feeling crowds all other ideals out of your consciousness. This is again where Neville Goddard says, how long to do it? How long should I live in the end, Chad? How long should I have the feeling of the wish fulfilled? How long should I go inside my imagination? Neville Goddard answers it again. He kind of answers it indirectly, not directly, but he says, you must assume the feeling of the fulfillment of your desire until you are possessed by it. Okay. He doesn't say for 1 day, 2 days, a week, a month, 6 months, Okay, this is really up to you. Okay, you must assume the feeling of the fulfillment of your desire until you are possessed by it. If it takes you a year to get possessed by it, that's how long it takes, baby. If it takes you one day to get possessed by it, if you're that good with this stuff, well, then it takes you one day. Okay, so there is no time limit. It's just for you personal. Then he goes on, and this feeling crowds all other ideas out of your consciousness. Okay, basically what he's doing, he's talking about the old you, okay, that old self, and you want to become that most successful version of you. And literally, you wake up every day, you live in the yin, you are that most successful version of you. When you talk to other people, listen to this, you talk as if you are that most successful version of you. Okay, you carry yourself, you make decisions, you dress like that most successful version of you. And you do it so much, you do it day after day until this most successful version of you takes control. That's what Neville Goddard is basically saying. Where this old self gets smaller and smaller and smaller, that old self that starts trickling in once in a while, you can just bury it. You can ignore it. Okay. That's what Neville Goddard is saying. And this really kind of brought up this whole paragraph right here. Okay. I was listening to Will Smith the other day, and he was talking about this, and he was talking about law of attraction, law of assumption. Now, he wasn't coining Neville Goddard or anything, but he was talking about, being that most successful version of you, but he was taking it a step further. Now, he was actually talking about living the yin, what Neville Goddard was explaining, but he was taking a step further, meaning that like whatever you want, whatever level of success you want, you have to act like it. You have to talk like it. You have to make decisions like it. And he took it a step further. He's like, it's going to seem delusional to most people around you. But for example, let's say you're talking to your best friend and your best friend is asking you questions about what you're doing, how your job's going or whatever. But it comes up, those questions come up where you want to be that most successful version of you. So when you answer the questions, you already have what you want. So let me give you an example. I'm not explaining it very well. Let's say that on YouTube, I want to be viral on YouTube. That's my assumption. Okay. So when my best friends call me and they sit there and ask me, well, hey, Chad, I see you on YouTube. How YouTube's going? And I sit there and say, it's going great. It's going great, man. I'm viral. I have 1.4 million subs. Okay. Now he can go to my YouTube channel and basically say, well, this isn't true. Chad's lying. But really, I'm not lying because I'm talking as if that's the most successful version of me. I'm talking as if by Neville Goddard, your imagination creates reality. And coming from Will Smith, this is what Will Smith said to do, is you got to talk as if you already have what you want. You got to listen, you got to answer questions as you are that most successful version of you. You have to answer questions as if you already have what you want. Now, to most people, this is delusional, but this is basically acting as if, living in the end. This is kind of living in the end on steroids. Okay. So to myself is, according to Neville Goddard, is once I see it in my imagination, it's already true. It's already became a fact. All I'm doing is waiting for it to catch up to me. Okay. But I'm talking as if I already have what I want. See, most of the time what we do here is that when people ask us questions, when people ask us how it's going, we revert back to that old version of us. Okay. If you want to be wealthy, when people ask you questions, you revert back to that scarcity mindset. Well, no, it's going okay. It's kind of been kind of rough, but it's going okay. I'm getting by. You get me on that. That's how we end up talking. And when we become aware how we're talking to other people, how we're answering questions, you're going to find that you're answering questions as if you're still that old version of you. You're not answering questions as the most successful version. Okay. This is more of an advanced kind of thought pattern I was having. I mean, going down the rabbit hole, living the end, feeling your wish fulfilled. But it's true. This is the level you have to think like. I mean, this was in now this is more of an advanced book by Neville Goddard, but this was in The Law and the Promise by Neville Goddard. The Law of the Promise, Neville Goddard gives a lot of testimonials, and I have a video on this, and I'll try to post it down below for you. And it's an excellent video to watch. It's called How to Dwell Within, and it goes into one of the greatest examples of Neville Goddard, really how to do it. I mean, these two couples really took living in the end to the extreme. I mean, they literally didn't do anything. They just acted like that most successful version of them. But let's move on here, because I kind of hit this concept on the nail many times. Listen, the man who is not prepared for the conscious plunge into the assumption of the wish fulfilled in the faith that it is the only way to the realization of his dream is not yet ready to live consciously by the law of assumption, although there is no doubt that he does live by the law of assumption unconsciously. But for you who accept this principle and are ready to live by consciously assuming that your wish is already fulfilled, the adventure begins for you. To reach a higher level of being, you must assume a higher concept of yourself. Isn't this so true? Listen, to reach a higher level of being, you must assume a higher concept of yourself. This is what I was just saying about you have to become that most successful version of you. Okay, maybe you make 20 bucks an hour right now and you want to make $30 an hour. But once you make $30 an hour, now all of a sudden you want to make 50 bucks an hour. Now, to make 50 bucks an hour, listen, you must assume a higher concept of yourself. Okay. This goes into your subconscious mind. This even goes into Thomas Troward, is that your mind is a center of divine operation. Divine operation means expansion into more. Like once you have what you want, there's always going to be a higher version of you, because that's abundance. That's infinite abundance. And that goes into your mind is always expanding. Your mind is always trying to get better, and it wants better. Okay, so this is kind of a law of nature in itself. But you have to understand, if you want to reach a higher level of being, if you want more, you have to become more. If you want to live as a powerful person, as a millionaire, well, you have to become a better person. You have to become a better version of you. If you want your dream house, the link is you have to become the person who has your dream house. If you want your dream car, you have to become the person who has your dream car. Does that make sense? If you want to be a multimillionaire, well, you have to become the person that can handle millions of dollars. Does that make sense? If you were not imagining yourself as other than what you are, then you will remain as you are. For if ye believe that I am he, ye shall die in your sins. And Neville kind of goes over this verse, so I'm not going to go over it for you. Because down below, he quotes a verse from John chapter 8, verse 24. But what I want to cover is what he just said. Listen to this. If you are not imagining yourself as other than what you are, then you will remain as you are. Okay. What he's saying is if you're operating right now as an old version of you, if that's all you can see is the old version of you, your old beliefs, your old thought patterns, murmuring, complaining all day long, you indirectly put yourself down. If that's the only version you see yourself, and you can't see yourself as that most successful version of you, you just can't do it. Well, you're going to remain as you are. Bottom line. Okay. And then this is where he quotes the verse. If you do not believe that you are he, the person you want to be, then you will remain as you are. Okay. And so another way to kind of put this is that, and I'll highlight this for you just in case there's some of you kind of following along me reading. If you do not believe that you are he, the person you want to be, then you remain as you are. If you can't believe, if you want your dream house, but for some reason you can't believe that you can have that dream house, you're going to remain stuck into that old version until you actually believe it. Okay, it's not until you actually believe you can have what you want until you become that person. If you don't believe it, you're going to remain as you are. Through the faithful systematic cultivation of the feeling of the wish fulfilled, desire becomes the promise of its own fulfillment. The assumption of the feeling of the wish fulfilled makes the future dream a present fact. And that's the end of chapter 4 on desire. And again, tribe, I love this chapter. I thought this chapter was full of nuggets. Like I said in the beginning, some of the chapters, when you go through the power of awareness, like the whole chapter, all the chapters are very good, but lots of times you can pull out like a small little paragraph that pretty much sums up the whole chapter. But I thought chapter 4, the whole chapter was really good. He explained it very good. It stayed on task. And it really kind of dug into desire, what desire is, which kind of reminded me of Napoleon Hill, the Think and Grow Rich, when Napoleon Hill really digs into desire. But Napoleon Hill just explained it differently than Neville Goddard, of course. And then it kind of went into feeling the wish fulfilled. He hinted to indirectly to living in the end, but he's really talking from a feeling the wish fulfilled, going inside your imagination. But he also answers that question that we have: how long to do it? And in Neville's terms and definitions, just from this chapter, you do it until you're possessed by what you want. You do it until you actually believe that you can have what you want. And once you believe you can have what you want, it meaning that you're living the end, meaning you're living as if you already have what you want. If I want to be wealthy, I'm already wealthy today. And I carry myself as wealthy. When I go shopping, I'm shopping as if I'm already wealthy. I'm dressing like I'm wealthy. I'm making decisions like I'm wealthy. When people talk to me, I'm answering them like I'm wealthy. I'm that person right now today. And until you can do that, that's your time frame. That's the incubation period. Okay, if it takes you 1 week to get there, then my golly, it took you a week. But if it takes you a year to be able to do this stuff, then you got to hang in there for a year. Okay, now this is where, now it isn't in this chapter, this is through just studying Neville Goddard myself, is one of the things that kind of sum up this video is that I love what Neville Goddard has said. When he talks about law of assumption, Neville Goddard has stated that he's never seen law of assumption fail. He's never seen it fail. He's never seen it fail in his whole career, and he even worked with and was mentored by Abdullah. Okay, he's never seen it fail. But he says a big but is that the only way it fails is if you give up. That's the only way it fails, if you stop and you give up. But if you don't stop and you give up and you persist in your assumption and you kind of hold on to this imagination creates reality and you stay in that state and you persist in it, what you want has to come to you, and it has to come to you by law. Because eventually, listen to this, eventually your subconscious mind, and I'm talking like myself, but eventually your subconscious mind is going to accept what you're giving it as true. And once your subconscious mind accepts it as true, it's going to come to you. It's going to make things happen, and it's going to come to you rather quickly. Okay, no matter if you hung in there for a year, no matter if you hung in there for 2 years, it's going to be like, it's going to be so rapid, you're going to wake up one day and it's going to seem like everything's coming to you because you finally got it. You finally get it. You finally became that most successful version of you. But other than that, my friends, other than that, tribe, just want to share that chapter with you. And I'll share more with you from Out of the Power of Awareness, but I might share it more as little paragraphs going throughout. But other than that, remember, I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.